Hello, welcome to my channel, Dinesh's Kitchen. Today, we'll be making pizza. So, let's have a look at our ingredients. 4 cups of whole wheat flour, 2 cups of warm water, 1 tablespoon of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of instant active yeast, and 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil and raw honey. So first we'll be starting with our pizza dough. So it's time to make a pizza dough. So first you need to add 2 half cups at a time. So that's 1 cup. So now you have to add a little bit water to make it a little liquidy. Alright, so now you must mix it. It has to be very watery in the beginning. So now it's time to add our yeast. Okay, once you've mixed all of that, it's time to keep adding a little more flour. Now, you just have to keep adding flour, one at a time. If you have too much flour, you could start limiting. So, before all the flour mixes in, you should add your sugar and salt. So now, once it comes to this consistency, it's a dough now. So now it's time for the rising. So you got to put a wet cloth on. I recommend putting a rubber band so no air escapes. So you have to wait for 2 hours, but I recommend 3 hours. So I'll be waiting 3 hours. So see you once 3 hours. It's been 3 hours. It's time to open our pizza. See how it's puffed up so much? It should be soft and puffy. So gather everything around. So take it out. Good. So now we don't need this anymore. So now it's time to knead. It has to get nice and soft. But at the same time, it has to get a little hard. Keep stretching. So by the time you're done with that, it shouldn't be sticking to your hand a lot. So now that you keep mixing it, so after sometimes you add oil. So make a hole like this, spread it out, pour it directly in the middle, and then roll it. It might be a little sticky. Not sticky. It might be a little like smooth. So it should be like that. After a while, it'll go back to normal. So you should leave some leftover for later. So now, all you need to do is make it into a ball. So now you can keep this aside. Time to cut our vegetables. They'll be our toppings. So my personal favorite is olives. You don't need a lot, but just in case, keep some extras. If it's too thick, you have to cut it again. So I'll be using 3 more olives. Okay, so now it's time to cut other vegetables. Try cutting your mushrooms very thin. Okay. So mushrooms make a little dirt, so push it away with your knife. Now it's time for our onions. I like going layer by layer. Be careful not to cut your fingers. So if it gets a little big, cut that in half. Okay, so don't make too many things or it'll take up too much space. Now it's time for the last vegetable. So next is jalapenos. So make sure you don't touch your eyes because jalapenos can be very spicy. Finish cutting your toppings, it's time to open the pizza again. By this time it might have risen again, so push it down. Knead it for like 5 minutes again so all the puffiness goes down. Okay. So now flatten it into a ball. Okay, so I'm going to cut it into thirds. Alright, now time to separate them. Alright, put the remaining back inside. Alright. So if it's like this, it's time to roll it into a ball. So do it like kneading, but you're not actually kneading. So once it comes to like this, spread it out. It smoothens the bottom. and then you curve it. Grab the bottom like this and then just roll. Okay, so now it's time to roll it out. First, put flour. So once you've done that, you can start spreading it out like this into a fine circle. So if you want, you can clear some things out of the way and then start rolling. Don't roll too far out or you won't be able to put it on the pan. Okay, so now it's time to put it on the pan. So by mistake, sometimes holes might start coming. So after that, stretch. Alright. Okay, now roll the crust. So with the fork, push it down. Okay, so now it's time to add your toppings. The first, you have to add sauce. I'm going to be adding crushed tomato sauce with basil. You have to add a little bit more, not too much. Just add it so it goes to the crust. And this is the last amount you have to use. So now you have to add your vegetables. So you have to move your stuff away and start putting your vegetables on. I won't be using tomatoes because they're not that good. So once you've added those, it's time to add your onions. So I like adding my onions behind every olive. And then on the other side, the opposite way. So now it's the same, it's the opposite on the other side. So now it's the opposite way. Okay, now it's time for the jalapenos. So I only add as in zigzags. So once you added your jalapenos, it's time for your cheese, the best part. Use as much cheese as you want, but try limiting, depending on how big your pizza is. Okay, so now I'm going to be adding buffalo sauce. So I'll be adding them in a circle. So once you've done that, to cover it up, just sprinkle a bit of cheese. Don't add too much right now. Okay. So now, when you're done with that, use vegetable oil, the remaining oil, and oil up the crust to make it smooth. And right under the crust too, just in case. Okay, so once you're done with that, you should get your oven mitts. Now that you've finished making your pizza, it's time to preheat your oven. So bake at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Bake oven. So now you just have to wait for 10 minutes until preheat mode is finished. So now that your oven's fully preheated, it's time to put your pizza in the oven. So be careful not to burn your hands. It definitely hurts and it stays for a long time. So you should let it cook for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, remove the bottom and put the pizza on the rack. So now it's time to take the pizza out. So now it's fully cooked. You should notice the cheeses look different and the crust. So do not burn yourself. Be careful. Alright. So now it's time to let it cool a bit to slice our pizza. First, make a dent here and keep going. Okay, now next side. I'll be cutting them into eighths. Eighths are always the perfect shape. Okay, so now you're done. So now it's time to taste it. It tastes good. So, hope your pizza comes out good. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like the video. See you next Friday, and bye.